Good job making it to step 3 in our tutorial series. This is where the rubber hits the road. What you should have already accomplished by now is to find your sheet, install the Chrome app, and be able to trigger an update. If you don't have that set up yet, you should go back to step 1 and review the steps, because in this tutorial we're going to focus on how to actually input trades and use the spreadsheet. Now if I go to this cheat sheet, you can see there's actually a PDF below this video that you can download and other hyperlinks that are important. So you can save this to your computer, you can print out a copy of it and use it as a reference to review everything that we'll be talking about in this video. Now what we're not going to cover in this video, but is linked to for detailed tutorials in the PDF guide, is exactly how to use the NanoLedger S, which is what I recommend for storing and trading your yellow coins in the portfolio, and also green, depending on if you're going to use a short portfolio or not. We're not going to cover in the video how to use Changely. It's very easy, and in the PDF we also have a detailed guide on how to use that. We're not going to cover how to use Coinbase. Coinbase is probably the best site for free commissions if you do limit orders to trade Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, and now they've just added Ethereum Classic. Other alternatives for initially purchasing your Bitcoin are Coin ATMs, which coinatmradar.com is a great site. If you don't want to register your identity when you're purchasing your Bitcoin, and you want to stay anonymous, that's one way to do it. Localbitcoins.com is another method for doing that, but of course you're going to pay higher rates. The other site you're going to need for our service, depending on which level of membership you go for, is Binance. Again, I'm not going to teach you how to use Binance in this video. That is covered in another tutorial and linked to from the PDF guide. And then finally, IDEX.markets is another site we're not going to cover in this video, but if you're a diamond level member, you will have to learn how to use IDEX, and we have a whole tutorial just on how to do that. Today's tutorial is all about how to use a spreadsheet, how to enter trades, and how to understand all the tools at your disposal now. And again, if you prefer to learn from a written format, the PDF you can print out, keep by your side, and use every day as you get familiar with the program. So let's start off by just clicking through the tabs, and then we'll look at different strategy settings and what your plan of action should be to get started. So first of all, we have a position manager, which is telling you your total profit up top, how much money you've invested, the current value of your portfolio, the current return on investment, and how much money you've withdrawn. We don't actually copy or paste anything in or out of this sheet. It's really just for you to have a good feel for what's going on in your portfolio. And it actually summarizes all your results, even from the short portfolio. Now in this tutorial, we're not going to cover how to use the short position manager, short money manager, selling short or buying back. That's a little more advanced and optional. You don't have to use those features to get a lot of value out of Portfolio Builder. Column A, we have the coin we're trading. Column B, the ticker. Column C, this is the number of coins you own. This is the return on investment for your coin, considering all buy and sell actions. And do note that your Bitcoin return may get watered down over time because you're trading in and out of Bitcoin. We have your position size. We have your target size. This is what percentage of your portfolio should own that coin compared to what is the reality. The percent difference. Now we're not doing the sum difference, which would just be subtracting target size against position size. Instead, we're telling you what percentage you're off. Because as we go into some of these smaller and smaller positions as we go down the list, it can become a little more misleading. So the percent difference is a lot better indicator. Target coins is based on target size. Coin difference is how many coins you're off from reaching your target. Value is the value of each coin in US dollars real time. And again, you do have to trigger an update to get the latest prices. This is telling you whether you should buy or sell to rebalance your portfolio. If it says sell, it doesn't mean sell the whole position. It just means to sell part of it. And then in these columns, we have other data such as open cost. This is how much cost it took to purchase those coins, the total profit generated from each coin, the last price. This is the Bitcoin, Ethereum, US dollar cost in order to rebalance any given position at any given time. This is the exchange. This is where you may or may not want to buy and sell these coins. It's where I recommend. And so you can see the yellow coins, I'm recommending you use Changely.com so you can keep the big positions completely off of online exchanges, which is much safer and secured by the NanoLedger S. Also, if you try to buy these coins outside of Changely and perhaps use Binance, they typically have a $10 to $12 withdrawal fee. So the fee to withdraw will oftentimes be much larger than just paying a few extra points of commission cost to Changely. Now, the only exception is Coinbase will allow you to purchase all of their coins with no commission and withdraw them with no commission. So for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum Classic, you may actually want to use Coinbase and do a limit order. We have a whole tutorial about limit orders. If you do a market order, you'll pay commissions. If you do a limit order, you pay no commission. And to review, the yellow coins are included in the basic program, including, of course, Bitcoin. If you upgrade to a gold level membership, you get these blue coins, which are purchased through Binance. And if you upgrade to a diamond level membership, you get to purchase these turquoise coins, which are available only through IDEX.markets. This is where we're trying to get coins well before they hit Binance or Coinbase or anything mainstream. And we're actually going to be constantly adding more dApps as different coins create markets for them. So the next one we'll be adding will be all the EOS dApps, but there's plenty of other platform-based cryptocurrency blockchain projects in the works. So this will be an ever-expanding project. Now, if we click to the Money Manager, this is the most important tab. This is where we can find out what we need to buy or sell at any given time to maintain a balanced portfolio based on 30-day trading volume. Our target sizes are all configured by the coin's 30-day rolling trading volume, which is a very stable, slow-moving number. So you're not going to see dramatic changes in position target sizes based on the volume. Now, if the price is moving quickly, that can alter our target size relatively quickly. We have three settings: conservative, aggressive, and super aggressive. Conservative is the only true index of the market based on the 30-day trading volume. And you'll see that this is a very heavy Bitcoin portfolio. While trends may change, the Bitcoin has proven to be less volatile compared to altcoins. So in this portfolio, I would in general expect to have less volatility, less losses, and less gains than the more aggressive strategies. Now, if you do switch over to the aggressive or super aggressive setting, you need to have a strong stomach because you're going to see bigger losses and bigger gains depending on which direction the market's going. Now, of course, we can combat some of this volatility with the short portfolio, and we'll talk about that more as we get into this tutorial course. But in general, for a beginner who doesn't necessarily like to see 50, 60, even 80% losses in their portfolio, most likely your best bet is to run the basic program on the conservative setting. And that's just a great place to get started. You can get it built out in probably a couple hours maximum and get a feel for using our system. It's easy to expand to a gold or diamond level membership to expand the diversity of your coins. And it's just one click to totally rebalance your portfolio to turn up the heat. If you think the market's going bullish and you want to increase your risk, then you can switch over to any of these settings at any time and then just trigger an update, and it will reconfigure what your target percentage per coin should be, and it'll print out what you should buy or sell to accomplish that. Okay, moving along, let's click on the Deposits tab. This is where we're converting fiat funds into cryptocurrencies. And this is based originally on converting your dollars into coins available at Coinbase, which is the free place to convert your money into cryptocurrencies. Now, if you do use something like an ATM machine or local Bitcoins, you can do it without registration. However, you're going to pay a lot higher commission costs, so it's really up to you. But this does not mean you've deposited coins from Coinbase to your Binance or from one cryptocurrency wallet to another wallet. This is really just to determine what your initial investment is over here on our position manager. So we're counting up all of your deposits and your withdrawals to reflect in your profit and your current value. Okay, so in this, we only fill out the yellow colored columns. We never touch these purple columns. So you can either convert to Tether originally, to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, Litecoin, or Bitcoin Cash. I had added Ripple, expecting Coinbase to add Ripple, but they have not done that yet. The cost per coin field for a USTD is always going to be $1. However, if you're depositing Bitcoin from fiat, you would simply put in the deposit date, the amount of Bitcoins you purchased, the cost per coin, and if you had a commission cost, that commission cost. Now, the cheapest way to accomplish this is to make a dollar deposit into your portfolio at Coinbase, then use a limit order to buy Bitcoin. But if that were the case, you would deposit the Tether in this tab, and then you'd be selling your Tether to buy Bitcoin in this tab. So we'll get to there in a minute, but this is where we calculate your initial investment and track how much money you've put into your portfolio total. Withdrawals, this is where we're sending out dollars to our bank account. You can withdraw Bitcoin or other coins straight from Coinbase to your bank, but the way they're really doing that is they're first selling it into dollars and then they're withdrawing it. So I recommend that you sell a cryptocurrency into USDT in this tab, USDT buying, before you withdraw. And withdrawals do count as part of profit taking in your overall position manager. So again, the send date, the number of coins, the coin value will always be 1. Commission, if there is a commission, you can put that. It should be free if you do it right with Coinbase Pro, and again, that is covered in another tutorial. The next tab is USDT selling. So if you first deposit with cash and buy Tether coins, then you want to convert those into, let's say, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, filling out columns C, D, G, H, and K, we can automatically convert that Tether into whichever coin we like and then be ready to start balancing it out with our portfolio. Money Manager tab. In this tab, we're supporting Bitcoin, Ethereum, Neo, Vertcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, Cardano, Ethereum Classic, Verge, OMG, Monero, Bitcoin Gold, Zcash, Dash, Stellar, NXT, and Augur. So try not to sell Tether for any coin other than these if you want to be able to easily input it into our spreadsheet. Now, in general, I would only recommend buying Tether if you think the market's going to drop and you're trying to get out of your various positions. Otherwise, you're better off selling your altcoins for Bitcoin or Ethereum, because we really want to mostly be using these tabs to the right, which is the Bitcoin selling, Bitcoin buying, Ethereum selling, and Ethereum buying. This tab should primarily be for trying to sidestep crashes in the market or to take profits. So if we're buying Tether, that's usually going to be leading to a withdraw or trying to just sidestep a crash. If we go to, I'll just real quick, it's the same columns: location, number of coins sold, cost per coin sold. This is the value of the coin you're selling, the cryptocurrency value, the commission cost, the number of coins bought, and we're asking you to fill out the original cost per coin. So we'll get into more detail of how to look up that when I build a fake model portfolio right in front of your eyes right here. But this is going to be, if I were selling Bitcoin today for USDT Tether, then I have to see what I originally paid for that Bitcoin so that I can compare the buy price and the sell price to figure out what my profit is. So in a moment I'll actually input a bunch of trades so you can see how that all accounts out. But our system does track your profit on every single transaction, and that way you have it for your tax reporting at the end of the year. Okay, now we're moving on to the Bitcoin selling tab. This is where we're selling Bitcoin to purchase what I call altcoins. Column C, you can track your location. Column D is the number of Bitcoin sold. Column G is the commission cost paid. Now, if you are using Binance, I highly recommend turning off their feature to spend the BNB coin because we don't track that and work well with that. We're actually trying to build a position of the BNB coin, and so doesn't make sense to spend them on commissions. H is the number of altcoins purchased, and column I is optional. You're going to find that if you're entering old trades from the past, you're not going to know the price per coin at that given point in time. Now, if you're entering trades real time, you can easily look at that price and insert that. So what happens if you don't know the price per coin of the altcoin when you made this purchase? Well, when you fill out column N and O, primarily O, we're going to look up the historical price of that coin to the best of our ability to get a very close idea of what you paid. Now, this won't mess up your overall profit loss in terms of tax accounting if we use historical dates, but it may not get the exact profit on each side of the trade correct. So if you're doing real-time trades, you can put in the exact price into column I, and it will use that price. So the initial date would be when we initially bought the Bitcoin, and the column K is the value of the Bitcoin at the initial date. So we'll cover exactly how that works with first in, first out accounting. But the general idea is we're going to track what we paid for the Bitcoin initially, and then when we sold it to buy the altcoin, what was the new price? And that will be the profit generated that will have a taxable outcome. Now, the days held is important. If you have held for over a year, you get a far lower tax rate. And so that's why we have the initial date to track the days held. The final date is really important, especially if you don't know the price per coin you paid in US dollars. So if you put in that date with this format right here, it will automatically look up your prices after you trigger an update. Okay, so moving along, we'll go to the Bitcoin buying tab. This is where we're going to sell our altcoins to purchase Bitcoin back. And so now it's the same thing, location, column C. We don't touch these purple columns, those are automatically calculated. Column D is the number of altcoins sold. Column E, if you're real-time entering a trade, grab that real-time price of the altcoin and input it here. If you don't have it, don't worry, just leave it with zeros. Commission will be the commission you paid on the trade. H is the number of Bitcoins purchased. Column I, the price per Bitcoin will automatically be filled out. Column K is going to be the price you originally paid for the altcoin. So assuming that you bought the altcoin from selling Bitcoin, you would find that price and initial purchase date over here in the Bitcoin selling tab where you're buying your altcoins. So now we need to track what price we originally paid for the altcoin versus what we've sold the altcoin for to figure out our profit. And again, the same thing. If you don't know the historical price paid for your altcoin, this column O will get the closing price of that day. Otherwise, if you do insert a price into column E, it will use your exact price. So for people trying to load up historical trades, that's the best we can do right now. If you're doing real-time trades, then it's very easy to input that as you go. Initial date, again, is when we first bought the altcoin. Final date is when we sold the altcoin. Now, Ethereum selling and Ethereum buying work exactly the same way. That's just identical. And you can sell your Ethereum for Bitcoin in this tab, just like you can do the same trade in the Bitcoin buying tab. So there is some overlap between those two tabs, and it's up to you which one you want to fill it out with. Now, I would save your Ethereum selling primarily for Diamond members. There's far more liquidity for trading altcoins in Bitcoin than there is Ethereum. So really, the Ethereum buying and selling is primarily going to be used to trade in and out of these turquoise coins. Now, these are all Ethereum-based dApps. They're either initial coin offerings where they've used the ERC20 Ethereum technology to just create their own coin to raise money, or they're an actual application being built on the Ethereum platform. And so these are the coins that you need to have a lot of patience for. They're the new startup companies that are just getting started. A lot of these will go to zero, but the ones that do succeed have the opportunity to show the huge gains we've seen in prior coins that started out small and made it big. Now, moving along, assuming that you do understand these do work exactly the same as Bitcoin, the next thing you need to be aware of is that our short position manager is going to automatically pick up your Bitcoin position and allow you to create a short position in your portfolio to hedge risk, to create profits when the market goes down. Now, if you're long, this will not necessarily reduce all risk, but it can reduce your volatility. So we'll cover this in more detail in the next video, but for now, let's just go through a build out. So the very first thing you need to do is get all your deposits inserted into your portfolio. Now, if you're just getting started and you've got a lot of trade history in the past, it may not be a very fun way to start out your experience with Portfolio Builder, trying to enter everything you've done in the past. I highly recommend that you either start off with a single Tether deposit or a single Bitcoin deposit to begin your journey into using Portfolio Builder. If you insist on entering all your historical data, that's fine, and we do have a lot of guides linked to from the PDF of how to do that. But in this guide, I'm going to assume that I'm just going to start off with a $25,000 deposit of cash. Okay, so now I'll go to my money manager, and I need to decide which strategy do I want to start with. Let's just say we wanted to do the super aggressive basic portfolio. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger an update. And that's going to tell me what I need to buy and sell to balance out this portfolio. So as we can see, it has told me which coins to buy and sell right here in my money manager to build this super aggressive portfolio. So the super aggressive strategy is ideal for investors who have a long time horizon. You're willing to wait for at least a year, probably 2 to 3, to generate a return. And if the value of this portfolio were to drop, you'd have funds on the sideline, either from real estate, stock, or your business, to replace losses. If you don't have that situation, you may be better off with something like the conservative system. You're not going to ever add any money to it. You want to have the least risk, and you just want to sit back. Now, anybody who's trying to generate a profit short term, you may want to watch my daily videos where I actually have a short-term mindset portfolio where I'm actively swing trading. And so this is where I'm doing my best job trying to predict the market. And that's very hard to do, and I'm teaching you the money management skills to do that as best as I can. In general, I'm a much bigger fan of a long-term outlook on cryptocurrencies with a broad basket of cryptos, and then using the short portfolio, if you're comfortable with it, to mitigate your risk and reduce your volatility, not necessarily to create a big profit. So let's go ahead and start balancing out this portfolio. So the first thing I would have had to do is connect my bank account to Coinbase and then use the deposit tab from Coinbase Pro to get a free deposit of Tether into Coinbase. From there, I could then use Coinbase to purchase the big positions: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and now they also offer Ethereum Classic. And I'd be able to do those all for free with no commission costs by doing a limit order. And again, we do have a video showing you how to do a limit order. It's really easy. If you do a market order, you're going to pay a ton of fees. After I purchase those coins in this quantity, 1 Bitcoin, 35 Ethereum, 6 Bitcoin Cash, 41 Litecoin, and 139 Ethereum Classic, I'd want to transfer those out of Coinbase to my Nano Ledger S. This is a much secure, long-term place to store my coins. And the only reason I would ever put them back in Coinbase was if I wanted to sell them and rebalance. The next set of coins I would have to fill would be the rest of the coins, which is including Qtum, Stellar, Bitcoin Gold, Digibyte, Dash, and Zcash. Now these coins can, as well as Stratus, Dogecoin, Komodo, HShare, PIVX, Horizon, and ARK. Now if your portfolio shows a 0 right there, that's because for your portfolio size, your order would be less than $20. We're not having you place any orders that are ever under $20 and automatically round that down. But the remaining series of purchases should be bought with Bitcoin and ordered through Changely. So we can actually ship our Bitcoin from Coinbase to Changely and then convert it into each of these coins and deposit those coins directly to our Nano Ledger S wallet. So what that means is before you start doing all this buying and selling, you really need to set up your Nano Ledger S and then grab your wallet address for all of the coins: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, every yellow coin. And once you have that stored, it'll be a really quick process to convert your Tether into Bitcoin and then your Bitcoin into the rest of these different coins. So let's actually go through the motions of entering the trades in our spreadsheet. And to save time, I'm not going to be inputting these into the various exchanges. I'm just going to be showing you how to use the spreadsheet. So as you can see, I have opened 2 tabs so I can easily copy paste from one tab to another. And so right now we have all of our money holding Tether, and we need to initially sell our Tether to buy these first 4 coins. And I'm sorry, it's actually 5 coins because Coinbase just added Ethereum Classic. So the first move I would make with this particular setup, and again, for those of you who are starting off with a pretty ugly history of crazy trading, there's other apps out there where you can download your complete history, send it to them, and they'll do a great job converting that into a taxable report. For our platform, it makes sense to try to keep things as simple as possible and make as few trades as possible. And so what I'll do initially is I'm going to buy every position that Coinbase has with my Tether except for Bitcoin. And you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to buy Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum Classic right now. So here's the amounts I'm purchasing. So I'll just paste the amount of Ethereum I'm purchasing into column H, and you can see up top that I'm selling USDT and to buy this many cryptocurrencies, which is this. Then I can come over here and I can get the cost in USDT, which would have been 7,227. Now if you were doing this, you'd actually get the real cost from your exchange. And the commission cost can be 0. And at this point, we bought our Tether for $1, we sold our Tether for $1, so there's no profit. So the date here is really to track when you first bought this Ethereum coin. And the reason I'm skipping Bitcoin right now is because I'm going to actually sell all of my remaining dollars after I fill these easy positions with Bitcoin, because then I'm going to need to use that Bitcoin to buy the rest of the portfolio. So there's one trade. Now we can go to the next one. Bitcoin Cash. We're going to buy 6 Bitcoin Cash Here's a good trick. Hit Control F. You'll pop up this. Type in Bitcoin Cash. Voila. Column H. Just always look at the titles to make sure you're in the right spot. It's going to cost $2,801, which goes right here. $0 commission cost. I can put in the date so I can track when I did this. Initial purchase of Bitcoin Cash. Coinbase. Okay, let's go to the next coin. Litecoin. We're going to get 41 Litecoins. There it is. It's going to cost me $2,264. And now I can get my Ethereum Classic position. $1,560. Can copy my date to all these trades. So I've just purchased 4 of my positions at Coinbase. I've used a limit order to pay no fees. And now I'm going to do another trigger update to see where we're standing in terms of how much dollars we have left. Because then I'm going to sell the rest of that for Bitcoin. And that's going to actually make us go well above how much Bitcoin we're supposed to own. Which is okay, because I need that extra Bitcoin to convert into the rest of our coins. Okay, now you can see that the Ethereum is very close to where it should be. The prices are always fluctuating, so think of it more like a recipe for a cake. If you're off by a pinch or a dash, it's not going to really change the way the cake tastes. We're trying to have a broad exposure to the top cryptocurrencies for a long time to generate a great return. We're not trying to be a high-frequency trading algorithm system. Okay, so we now have 11,145 Tether coins left, and we're not going to be able to buy any other coins with those Tether coins except for Bitcoin. So I'm now going to sell all of that for Bitcoin. And so you can see I've placed the number of coins sold. Now it does have a dollar amount there, but you can ignore that. That's really just the coins sold. I was able to purchase 1.71469 Bitcoin for free using a limit order at Coinbase. And now I can go back and trigger another update, but of course I'm going to have too much Bitcoin, which is good because I need that to convert into the other cryptocurrencies. So I'll go ahead and trigger an update. I'll pause it while it updates. It does take about a minute to look up all the prices and recalculate everything. And it's updated. You can see we have 0.69 too much Bitcoin, so it's saying to sell that amount. But luckily, we do need to purchase the rest of our coins. So to do this, we'll be sending Bitcoin from Coinbase to Changelly. Changelly will then send it back to our NanoLedger S wallet for that specific coin, and now it's stored securely for the long haul. Now again, we do have different tutorials that teach you how to do all of this. My goal in this video is just to make you an expert at how to input trades in the spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and go through the motions of how we'd fill out our sheet. Now I'll be pulling prices from the spreadsheet, which is a live feed of the real-time prices, but you'd be getting your prices from your actual exchange orders. So Changelly will print a receipt and email it to you of every trade. Binance gives you a trade history, etc. And we have tutorials teaching that in detail. So now we're going to go to the Bitcoin selling tab. Let's look at the first coin we need to purchase. So we need to buy 6,631 Ripple coins, and the cost is now not in dollars because we're not trading with dollars, we're trading with Bitcoins. Okay, so let's do the first trade. Copy the coin difference. Okay, just note XRP is how Coinbase, or rather CoinMarketCap, is listing Ripple now. And now look for your titles. So number of altcoins purchased, so we know that's the right spot. If I click this, I can kind of narrow in where it is. If it looks like a lot of cells, you don't want to get dizzy. If you click the columns, you can kind of find your way around a little easier. The cost is going to be right here. Now, the commission on these won't be free, and so you might be finding that you're going to end up paying the sale value. So I just typed in equals. I clicked on this. If we're in Binance, our fee is 0.01. But if we're using Changely, it's going to be 0.05. So depending on whether you're either at Binance 0.01 or at Changely 0.05, you can always use this to calculate your commission cost. They're going to quote your commission cost likely in Bitcoin and not in dollars. And so that is not how our system tracks your commission costs. So this is an easier way to do that. Now if you're thinking, well wait, that's 5 times the commission cost. Yeah, but once you have to pay $10 to $12 to take the coin out of Binance, you're actually going to pay a lot bigger fee in a lot of cases. So you can calculate what's the best deal. Should you buy the coin at Binance and then put it on your Nano Ledger S, or should you just go straight from Coinbase or your Nano Ledger S, send the Bitcoin to Changely, and then let it convert it and deposit it back to your new wallet? Okay, so now I can look at the real-time price of Ripple, and if I didn't know that because I was entering a historical date, I would just put in the date, the final date, when I actually purchased that coin, to get the historical data. Now that will auto-populate after you trigger an update here, not before. So if you fill out the column O, you have to trigger an update to get it to fill out. But we will be able to get the real-time price on this example, and its real-time price is 28 cents. So I come back here, type in 0.28. Now to fill out the purple sheet, the purple columns, if I update a portfolio update, it will fill in the rest of the trade. And you can see it knows the rest of the data from just these data points. And it's now wanting to know the original value of Bitcoin. So to figure that out, I have to think, where did I first buy this Bitcoin? Was it in my deposit tab? No, it wasn't. In this case, I bought USDT with fiat money, and then I converted that by USDT selling. So I know my initial cost was $6,500 per coin. So I can type in 6,500, and it will tell me what my profit loss was. Now in this case, you can see the commission cost. Oh, I forgot to put a zero. It's 0.005. So on an order of around $6,500, I was able to have less commissions using Changely than I would have with Binance. So if your order size is going to get above $6,500, you may save a little bit of money by trading it through Binance and then exporting it out to your Nano Ledger S. If it's below that, you're probably going to save money and time and hassle by just using Changely. So we can see the profit on that trade was a negative $1.59 after my commission cost. So that's one trade done, and we can see that our Ripple is now balanced. So the rest of this process is exactly the same. So what I'll do now is I'm going to pause and fill out the rest of the trade orders, and then come back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try either changing the strategy setting, or we'll pretend that you've upgraded to either the gold or diamond membership. So you can see what the process would look like to go from a basic portfolio and then either upgrade it to a gold or diamond, or to change your risk setting because you want to increase or decrease your risk. Okay, so now I've got most of it filled out. I'm going to show you a little trick. If I copy that commission cost here and go down to the rest of my orders, you can see it's going to automatically recognize the formula and carry it through to find that cell. And so I'm just pasting that into these spots, and then we'll trigger an update. Some of the coins didn't have over a $20 order, so we didn't buy them, even though they're marked yellow. And if I wanted to, I could go put this Bitcoin cost into here and the initial buy and sell dates. But for now, let's just trigger an update and look at our money manager. Alright, so we can see it's now updated and all of our key positions have a relatively low percent difference. Prices are constantly changing. You're not going to ever have it saying you have the perfect index at any given time. So this is very good. And I go to my position manager and I can take a look at my portfolio. We can see that we've lost a little money on our Ethereum and Bitcoin while we're recording this, some commission costs. Maybe the market's gone down a little bit since we put our purchase prices in. But it's looking good. So now let's say we wanted to change our setting. What would happen if I go to conservative? Well, first of all, let's see. We have 27% position in Bitcoin, 28% in Ethereum, 7% in Ripple, 11% in Bitcoin Cash, 9% Litecoin, and it gets smaller as we go down the line. And this is based on a super aggressive setting that is artificially lowering the 30-day trading volume of Bitcoin and Ethereum to push more money down into these smaller positions. Look what happens when I use the true index. This is what the market is really betting on right now. So you're going to see these numbers dramatically change, and you can see now we'd have a 54% position in Bitcoin, so we have only half as much Bitcoin as we need. Our Ethereum position would remain about the same. Our Ripple position would be cut in half. Our Bitcoin Cash more than cut in half. Litecoin almost into a third. So as you can see, if you had a super risky portfolio setting, you saw some big gains in your altcoins and you wanted to try to lock in some of those profits, you might consider going to the conservative setting from that to try to lock in some profits. This will also give you a bigger Bitcoin position to short the market if you thought the market was going to crash and wanted to utilize our short portfolio. So it would be the same process. We would now be going to the Bitcoin buying tab and we'd be selling these altcoins to buy back our Bitcoins. And this time around we'd be tracking the original cost of the altcoin, the original purchase date of the altcoin, and then the final date would be when you sold the altcoin to buy back your Bitcoin. Okay? So that's how easy it is to switch from these different settings. Let's see what would happen if you upgraded from a basic platform to, let's just go straight to the Diamond so we can go through all the different features of our product. So all that happens is we change the label from basic to Diamond in our user database, and the next time you trigger an update, look what's going to happen. Pay attention to column F in our target sizes. Suddenly we have target position sizes in every single coin, all the way down to the Ethereum dApps in turquoise, the Binance coins in blue, and then we already had the yellow coins from our basic portfolio. And now let's go to the super aggressive setting. This is the most aggressive setting possible. As we go from basic to gold to diamond, that in itself creates more risk. So if you use the diamond setting on the super risky setting, you'll be attempting to achieve the maximum return over the long term, but also put yourself at risk of the biggest losses if the market goes down rather than up. So now let's see what happens. So as you can see in the diamond level membership and the super aggressive setting, our Bitcoin position has been squashed down to 16%. In fact, we have a larger Ethereum position. So this is predicting that Bitcoin will likely fail and that other coins will overtake it. If we go to the money manager, it works the exact same way. The only thing you really need to know is that this set of coins in turquoise can only be purchased by selling Ethereum. So you have to go above and beyond what the money manager thinks you should own in Ethereum so that you can then purchase all of these other coins. And so it's easy to calculate how much extra Ethereum you may need. If you just go to this tab and select that, right here it says 1.6341. So you're going to need to purchase that much extra Ethereum to be able to afford to buy these different coins. Now, even with the $25,000 portfolio on the most aggressive setting, many of these coins don't deserve a position. That's because their 30-day trading volume is so weak, it wouldn't even represent a $20 position size. And actually, it's based on Bitcoin cost, not USD cost. You can see this one is squeaking in at 15 bucks. So that is 0.0002 Bitcoin is the minimum order that our software will advocate. So as Bitcoin goes up or down, that minimum cost will change. And that's based on Binance's smallest order price. Now, once again, the exact process of purchasing these coins with either Binance or IDEX.markets deserves its own tutorial, and those are linked to in the PDF guide and below the video. This is our Binance exchange. This is the IDEX. This is where we get the blue coins. This is where we get the turquoise coins. IDEX, you can connect to my Ether wallet, which can be secured with your Nano Ledger S key. So we have a whole tutorial on that, and that's how we're trying to get the coins before they go big time. So that wraps up the bulk of our tutorial. I'm going to switch it back to the basic portfolio and show you how you might go about making withdraw, so you can just see the process. Again, this is where we prefer to do a USD buying trade by selling some of our either our Bitcoin or Ethereum. So if you've taken some profits from a bunch of altcoins, maybe switched over to the conservative setting to automatically trigger a bunch of selling in the Bitcoin buying and Ethereum buying tabs. This is where you would have taken profits on your altcoins. Now let's just say we want to make a withdrawal. So we're going to now convert some of our Bitcoin into Tether, and then we will withdraw the Tether to our bank account. Okay, so let's just say we sold 1 Bitcoin today with no profit. And so we sold 1 Bitcoin for $6,500 for a cost of $6,500. Now I can trigger an update to make this account into the rest of the system. And you can see our calculator is not too happy with us. We are now short how much Bitcoin we should have, which would cause a complete rebalance of everything, especially once we withdraw that $6,500. So right now it still thinks we have the money to buy back that Bitcoin position. But after I withdraw it, it will no longer think that. And if I use Coinbase, I can get this all done for free. Trigger an update. And now you can see I've withdrawn my $6,500, and now the money manager is going to have to recalculate everything, which is going to mean I need to sell off all these other coins that are now overvalued so I can buy some Bitcoin and rebalance. So there you go. That's the ins and outs of using the platform minus the short positions. So I highly suggest you get your basic portfolio built before you worry about learning about how to short. If you do feel like you're ready for that, just click next below, and the next tutorial will go over how to short the market. Thanks again for your time, and look forward to teaching you how to short the market in the next tutorial.